In the first videos of this series, we established that Paul was writing the Romans to correct a doctrine that had arisen after the Jews were exiled from Rome. That is replacement theology, the belief that God has forever rejected natural Israel for the church. Hi, I'm Ron Cantor from Congregation Tiferet Yeshua, right here in Tel Aviv. Stick around till the end to find out how you can get a free ebook to equip you as a defender of Israel. We concluded in our last video, going through Romans 9, the first 5 verses where Paul reveals God's heart for backslidden Israel, saying that he would be willing to go to hell if only they could be saved. That is one of the most powerful expressions of intercession that we see in the entire Bible. But why does Paul share this with Rome and not with Ephesus or Philippi? Because the Roman believers had begun to, at best, treat the Messianic Jews in their midst as second class, or at worst, would not receive them as believers at all, after they returned from the Claudius exile. In speaking of natural Israel, the physical descendants of Abraham through Isaac and Jacob, he lists their credentials as God's covenant people. In this he says, "From Israel is traced the human ancestry of the Messiah, who is God over all, forever praised. Amen." Why mention that this is significant, that the God-man, Yeshua, is of the seed of Abraham? According to replacement theologians, that's of no consequence. Except for the fact that it is a fulfillment of prophecy, I suppose he could have been Chinese or Italian. That sure would have been convenient for the bishops of Rome. Or maybe he could have been Palestinian, as not only Arafat claimed, but many left-wing, politically motivated, and theologically destitute teachers have claimed. No, his ancestry through Israel is important in Paul's mind, and he mentions it for a reason. Remember the background. The Romans had already turned against their Jewish brothers and sisters in the Messiah. Paul is seeking to say, don't count these people out. God has had his hand on them for some time and still has a future plan. As we get into chapter 11, that will become abundantly clear. And yet there is another verse right in the beginning in chapter 1. The gospel he promised beforehand through his prophets in the Holy Scriptures regarding his son, who as to his earthly life was a descendant of David, and who through the Spirit of holiness was appointed the Son of God. Once again, Paul points out Yeshua's earthly heritage, the son of David, a Jew, an Israelite. So many replacement theologians see Paul as anti-Jewish, and here he emphasizes just 3 verses into this most important book that Yeshua is the son of David. The Romans had concluded that his Jewishness was of no consequence. God was done with the Jews. They had replaced Israel. Now, the typical replacement response would be, yes, he was the son of David, as in past tense. Now he is the head of the church which has replaced Israel. They could claim that it is significant only to the extent that God promised that he would redeem the world through Abraham's seed, Yeshua. Well, we have some problems. Why then is he called post-resurrection the Lion of the tribe of Judah? Why is it that he returns specifically to Jerusalem? Why do the armies of the earth gather in Armageddon in Israel's heartland if God is finished with Israel? And lastly, why are there 2 witnesses prophesying for the last 3.5 years before his return in Jerusalem? And then there is Romans 11, of course, which Paul begins with an emphatic statement that God has not cast off Israel. I hope this video has been a blessing to you. To get my free ebook, The 15 Most Important Facts About the Israeli-Palestinian Conflict, just go to roncan.net/15facts and make sure that the F is capitalized. This video has been brought to you by our congregation Tiferet Yeshua, right here in Tel Aviv. For more information, please go to reachtelaviv.org. And while you're there, consider making a donation so we can continue to share the good news of Yeshua right here in Tel Aviv and bring you more of these weekly videos. Now, don't forget to subscribe. Shalom from Tel Aviv.